How's everything going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing pretty good. So today we're going to talk about some small kitchen appliances today. We actually have our toaster oven. And how does learning about the toaster oven sound to you?
Sweet. I've used it before, but I definitely need a refresher since it's lost some vision.
Oh, okay. Well, can you explain a little bit of what vision you have lost and explain maybe what is like parts of the toaster oven you're able to see for me?
Yeah, I'm blind in my right eye, and I have macular degeneration in my left eye. But I have pre-functional vision in my left eye. Like I can see all of this. It's just kind of blurry in my central vision.
Okay.
But I can see the clear bump dots on this, and I know that it's a dial. So a timer, toast, function, temperature.
Yes.
I can read all that. I can basically see all this.
Okay, good. All right. So you've used a toaster oven before, which is good to know.
Yeah.
Is there anything you're like maybe concerned about today to go over, or?
Not really. I just kind of need like a refresher on how to use everything.
Okay, well, good to know. So let's start off. So you're able to see the three dials that we have here?
Yeah.
Okay, so the first dial is the temperature.
Yep.
It goes up in 50, like increments of 50 for heat-wise, for Fahrenheit. So it's the lowest is for 150. And the highest it goes up to 450.
Okay.
There are two clear bump dots on the top. Usually what people primarily use when cooking is 350 degrees. A lot of recipes call for 350, so that's where your first bump dot is.
Okay.
And your second one is actually around 450.
Okay.
So if you ever used anything else, we could always, if you had a different recipe in mind, we can always mark another bump dot if necessary in the future.
Okay.
But that's primarily the two heat sources.
Okay.
Because if you needed, let's say you have something at 400 and you have 350 mark and 450, you know where it would go, right? I don't even know how to describe it. The little turner.
The dial.
The dial, thank you.
Yeah.
And do you hear that click?
Yep.
Yeah, so that's how you know that the temperature is on, and how you know to align it. Do you feel the little line on the dial in the middle section?
Yeah, I can see it too.
Okay, good to know. So that's where temperature, and you always want to listen to that auditory cue as well. So the next dial down, you have your function.
The bake, the boil, toast.
Yes. And you're okay with that one bump dot being on bake?
Yeah, I usually just normally use bake anyways.
Okay. Do you know what broil does?
No.
So broil, it's a good tool to know because a lot of the heat comes down on top of your whatever's being cooked. So there are certain foods that you would really prepare like broil, like sometimes salmon is a good example of a food that's sometimes broiled. But it's usually where the heat comes down on top. So compared to bake, the heating is around the entire toaster oven or oven in general. So broil just comes from the top heating source.
Gotcha.
So as long as you know, for the function, when we go into like plugging in everything, it will stay on keep warm. Once you go and turn it to the bake setting, what happens is you'll hear the oven starting to heat up.
Okay.
So that's an auditory cue for you as well.
Okay.
And then the bottom one, as you heard before, once you turned it, it's the timer.
Yep. 0, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60.
Yes, and there's bump dots it's 10 increments.
Yep.
So that's a good tool to know as well. And then you hear the ding when it's done.
Yeah.
Do you usually use a timer, or do you prefer to use Siri?
I usually use Siri.
It's a good tool. I prefer Siri myself because it just identifies it. Sometimes I've learned with toaster ovens is that the timer may not be exact, where I've had it where the timer's gone off and then Siri's gone off.
Yeah.
Like a little bit later. So it all depends.
Gotcha.
But those are your three functions, and then do you want to explore the inside as well?
Sure. I can see the handle, and there's aluminum foil.
Okay.
I usually know how to take the tray in and out. I can see the indents and stuff.
And you can feel like the heating sources.
Yeah.
Okay, good to know.
Tray to clean out, yeah.
Yes, exactly. So I actually brought a smaller tray with me because this is the kind of size tray that you'd be placing inside. Just a little tip for when we start cooking, a good way to do it is once we have like oven mitts on, is to remove and slide out the like inner rack to place it on so you're not sticking your whole hand.
Can I try it with the glove on?
Yeah, I actually, I'll go through. So,
Oh, sorry.
it's okay. So,
Thank you.
I'll do it with one. So do you want to start with it fully closed and then practice with?
Just because, like, my hand is not
It feels a lot larger.
hand mount. I like this elf glove.
You like that
It
elf
looks
glove?
like a gardening glove, but I know it's not.
Okay, good. And sometimes right now, you see how there's tinfoil around the rack?
Yes.
It's also, aluminum foil may not get as hot as the actual rack will with
Okay.
getting heated, so sometimes it helps even for cleanup as well. Like if you see that you're getting some sticky residue on it, then it helps with cleanup. And that's why even when cooking, it's always good to align your tray with aluminum foil, because then it makes cleanup even easier for washing and everything. Do you want to just practice by putting the tray in?
Sure, so there's a tray on the aluminum foil?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I tend to scooch it out a little bit so
Okay,
it's easier
yeah.
for me to grab.
I was gonna say, you see putting it in just like you're doing that way. All right,
That's
and then, all right, so what I want you to do, since you've learned and you know where the cord is
Yeah.
to the,
Yep, I can see.
and you're
the cord.
comfortable with even plugging it in.
Oh, yeah.
All right, and we're gonna unplug it for now.
Yep.
Perfect. All right, so I want you just to practice, just to show me you understood. I want you to set it at 350 degrees, and I want you to set it to toast, and I want you to time it for 10 minutes.
Okay. So 350. Toast. 10 minutes?
Yes,
Boom.
perfect. And that was simple, right?
Simple, yep.
And you're comfortable for next time?
Yeah.
So I think you did, you want to turn the timer off?
Oh, yeah, yeah. I'll set everything back.
Perfect. Good. All right, so.
It's still going off for some reason.
Yeah, sometimes those timers can be a little tricky.
Yeah.
So you did really well.
Thank
You,
you.
you seem to be very comfortable with even using it before we've
Yeah.
even started. So how about you learned the 3 different dials. We went over the 3 different dials and all the bump dots. You explored the inside of it. You're comfortable with putting in your own tray and everything. You didn't seem to have any difficulties today.
No.
Not at all. So how about for next time, why don't we work on food preparation?
Sounds good.
So you're, as you described to me, a vegetarian, right?
Yep.
So, right, we'll mostly focus on, I think, vegetables next time. We'll
Okay.
work on some slicing. So do you like tomatoes, maybe some carrots,
Those work,
anything?
yeah.
Okay, so maybe we'll do some food preparation. We'll do some spreading. So you're comfortable with, spreading mayo or jelly, anything like that.
Okay.
Yeah. And let's also just add flipping in there. I have a double-sided spatula. Have you ever used one of those?
No, but I'm willing to try something new.
Okay. So we have everything. You have a cutting board, all that?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you need any of the vegetables? Do I need to grab some tomatoes or anything?
If you don't mind grabbing some
Okay.
tomatoes.
So yeah, you have a cutting board. You have knives here, right?
Yeah.
Okay. I think so. Goals for next time. Let's talk about. I think goals maybe slicing. So slicing, maybe spreading all over. You've never used a double-sided spatula, so goal maybe to use a double-sided spatula for the first time. And for assignment, just get used to playing around with the different dials here and the different functions.
Okay.
The toaster oven. I forgot to mention just before I go, this is not the exact cloth you would use to clean the toaster oven. This is actually Brazilian cloth. You would kind of use a microfiber. You feel the kind of texture.
Yeah.
So not everything can be cleaned in here.
Uh-huh.
So getting a microfiber cloth with some and dampening it, because you'll get some little gunk in the inside. So you just want to keep our machines always clean for the
Okay.
future. All right.
Yep.
So you're good for next time.
Yes.
All right. Well, thank you, Sierra.
Thank you.
Have a good one.